How to prepare for IPMAT, especially keeping in mind that board exams also play a huge role. Right? So, first things first, we've been saying this for years now. Board exams are a priority. They're an absolute priority. Fine, IPMAT gives you an access to all IPMAT put together, maybe 300, 400 seats. Maybe 10,000 people write this exam, intensely competitive. It's a good chance, it's an excellent course, but your board is the main gateway. IPMAT is another option along the side. It's a good exam to write, but you simply cannot say, I'll somewhat compromise my board and put all my eggs into this basket called as IPMAT. Doesn't work. Then how should you prepare? You should keep in mind that quite a few things that you need to prepare for IPMAT, you will already have the background for. And so broadly, you're going to be tested quantitative aptitude and verbal ability with some data interpretation and maybe the odd puzzle thrown in for different exams. But these are two big chunks. If you're preparing sincerely for your board exam, then the quant part, the math part already covered. Make sure you have enough time to make adjustments. You'll be living in the world of differential calculus and trigonometry and coordinate geometry, and then you'll have to answer questions in percentages and profit and loss and averages and simple interest, compound interest. So make that adjustment, because the syllabus particularly relevant for IPMAT is what you would have covered in class 8, class 9, class 10, and not necessarily 11 and 12. But you'll be comfortable with numbers, framing equations and writing. That's not a big deal. You have to make that adjustment. So immediately after board exam ends, you should jump in and do tons of questions to make that adjustment. Beforehand, you should set aside maybe a couple of hours a week or 3-4 hours a week to say, hey, I'm going to switch off from this and then learn that, because I need to learn that game for IPMAT. Then what should you do for verbal? Do tons of reading. Verbal hinges completely on reading. So every week, 3-4 hours, you should say, hey, I'm going to read something. Maybe it's a newspaper, maybe it's a novel, maybe it's a magazine, maybe it's something related to your favorite topic. But you must read for at least 3 hours every week. I know it sounds like on top of your school exam preparation, I'm saying prepare for 3 hours for IPMAT and then read for 3 hours. And so generally reading is a break. You have to learn the art of taking a break without going towards a gadget or something which is slightly high risk when you're near board exams. You can't say, look, I'll play football for 6 hours. I'll play basketball for 3 hours. Closer to the exam, there's a risk of injury, risk of injuring your fingers, toes, all of that. So you've got to dial that down. And you can't say, I'm going to watch my favorite TV series and binge watch it for 4 hours. You don't have that luxury, and it dulls your brain in the immediate window. It's a great entertainment avenue, but you've got to dial these down, which means you have to find your entertainment things into safer, simpler, calmer things, which effectively reading books and doing something slightly different. Use reading books as your get out of jail clause from the intensity of your board exam preparation. This also helps your IPMAT. Use the quant part to say, hey, I'm living continuously saying I need to get 99 out of 100 or 97 out of 100, and then I can switch off and do some simpler math. But stay in touch with these topics. That should be your plan till your board. And then you amp it up in the last few weeks, take a lot of mocks and get ready. Don't put boards on hold. Boards are an absolute priority. Switch off from boards for about 4 to 5 hours per week. A little bit more, 5 to 6 if possible. And then allot that time equally into reading and doing simpler math. If you're ultra comfortable with the simpler math part, you remember the stuff, dial up reading. The reading part should help you with a variety of exams. You have one eye on any exam that requires current affairs, maybe be it CLAT or HSE, any exam, which involves a little bit of knowing what's happening in the world around you, a little bit of civics, a little bit of general knowledge, then reading is going to massively help. If you have an eye on that, then you've got to say, look, these 3-4 hours I'm spending, I'm not going to read novels. I'm going to read news, I'm going to read Frontline, I'm going to read the Hindu, I'm going to read a newspaper, I'm going to check out this website. That should be your priority, which should be a switch-off avenue from your board exam preparation. So your switch-off avenue is also going to be useful, such as life. It's maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, grin it and bear it. Best wishes for you.